Hi everyone, this is Tisch Aitken, and we are officially in Pisces season. And if you're feeling confused or foggy or emotional, well, you're not alone. And we are also in Mercury Retrograde, which began really at the beginning of February. Mercury entered its shadow on February 2nd, and when it entered 28 degrees of Aquarius, where it will station direct on March 10th, and it entered Pisces on February 3rd, where it will remain on and off until April 11th. And Mercury is in its detriment in Pisces. It's very confusing. It's very emotionally based. It's very imaginative and creative, but it is not seeing things through a logical lens. And I think we all have to remind ourselves it's very subjective thinking. And Venus is currently in Aries as well. It's going to be in Aries until March 4th. And Venus is in its detriment also in the sign of Aries, so it's fiery. So, and I do think of Venus also affecting our emotions because it's what we like and what we value. And so the combination, people could be feeling charged up, but also really taking things very very personally with Mercury in Pisces and retrograde and feeling very sensitive. Whenever Mercury retrogrades, often we reconnect with people from our past. We hear about people or think about people from our past. People come to us in our dreams, even people, especially people that have passed over, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac and it rules dreams. And it does rule our ghosts, among other things, literally and figuratively. And I think this time is going to be quite difficult because we had a very busy and very powerful beginning of the year where basically no planets were retrograde as of January 10th when Uranus went direct. There were no planets retrograde in the sky. There was that whole big, stellium in Capricorn that for once I'm not going to get into extreme detail about, but we're all working with all year about taking action, getting busy, figuring out what we need to release and what we need to renovate and transform. So that story is still in the background, but with the sun in Pisces, the sun is our ego and identity. It's very much about resting. It's about processing things emotionally. It's about connecting to your spirituality in some level. And there, we're about to prepare for a new moon in Pisces that's going to occur on Sunday. I'm trying to think of the date right now. Sunday, the 23rd. There's going to be a new moon at 4 degrees of Pisces that occurs at 10:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be at 4 degrees of Pisces. It's actually a very nice new moon all in all because it's, again, Pisces rules the imagination. It's an excellent time to manifest. It's an excellent time to write down your intentions, to journal, to focus on your dreams, to burn sage and cleanse, because Pisces season is definitely a time where we absorb our own emotions and others, and it's an excellent time for purging and releasing. Well, not in like a scorpionic way, but washing away this, stress and resting. And so the new moon will be at 4 degrees. It's going to form a sextile to Uranus and Taurus, and that's very innovative thinking. So that can help to bring some innovation and flashes of insight to this creative energy. And it's also going to form an exact sextile to Mars, which at least helps us to take action, even though we might be feeling a little bit scattered. This is a very scattered energy. And if you're feeling that way, just go with that. That's going to be the case for the next few weeks. And I have already seen a lot of miscommunication. I've seen people getting pretty fiery, and I think that will start to subside a little bit. I mean, I don't think the emotional part will, but I think Venus is going to change signs on March 4th, so that's not that far away, and then it'll enter the sign of Taurus, where it is in its rulership. It's a beautiful placement. But the thing to also, realize, so with this new moon in Pisces, it's going to also, bring up factors of, bring up the idea of the fact that it's still a retrograde, and you're reconsidering things that you want to do. And I wouldn't really launch a new beginning this month if you can avoid it. I would just, it's been such a cardinal year with so many things happening. I think it's more of a reflective time. Of course, sometimes we can't avoid Mercury retrograde, and there are going to be a lot more retrogrades in the year. But Venus and Jupiter are going to square one another that day, and they're also both in their, Venus is in its detriment in Aries, and Jupiter is in its fall in Capricorn. So it expands, in my feeling, the emotional energy, because Venus will be in the 12th house in the new moon chart, and that's the Pisces house. So it still could be some endings, could be, could be emotional energy. Again, could be good for the manifesting if you don't overdo it. People will be inclined to want to overdo it with the new moon energy. Jupiter is excess. It's also belief system and faith, and it's the ancient ruler of Pisces. So if you tap it in that way, that's great. But it could be where people are feeling really emotional and, just kind of trying to, I'd lay low a little bit with this energy. And on the 25th, Mars is meeting up with the south node of karma. Now, Mars is currently in Capricorn, where it will be through the remainder, through the ending of, through the end of March. But it's going to meet up with the south node of karma, and that is not an easy placement. And I have to say, the last time the two met up, I remember in June of 2018, Mars was in Aquarius at that time, and that was the week that both Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain took their lives. And I am not being doom and gloom, but I am being realistic that because this is such emotionally charged energy, you want to check in with yourself and check in with others, because that can be an aspect of undoing. And if people are feeling extra emotional, this is definitely a time to watch out for people and to reach out for help, and I'm calling it as it is, because that is reality. And I think that the useful part of that is figuring out actions and behavior that might be toxic or that you want to eliminate, because that could be a good use of Mars in the south node. But people might, relationships could end. The male energy could be off the charts a bit with that too, because Mars does rule the masculine. But that's coming up. This is going to be an emotional time. We've had such a big year, and we still have such a big year because so many big aspects are happening and such. But I think now, let yourself feel the emotions, let yourself cry, let yourself feel joyful if that's what you feel. But let yourself, really emotionally process, because that is what's going on. And the beginning of the year, with so many planets in Capricorn, that's not about emotion. That's about karma and working and taking responsibility. Now it's about feeling the emotions and figuring the dream and refiguring the dream. So reconnect to that. And I wish you a lot of luck. Thank you. Take care. Bye.